Yo guys, what is up? Max in Wonderlands video, and today we're going over all of the new gear in the Shattering Spectre Glass mirror. Now, if you're watching this video, the Shattering Spectre Glass DLC and the Blightcaller class, which I've been playing, which has been absolutely amazing, drops today. And this video, I wanted to go over all of the new gear that comes out in week 1, give you my first impressions, and kind of rate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Note, I will not be showing any footage of this 4th mirror to keep this video spoiler free so that you can experience that for yourself. However, I will be obviously showing the gear from it, which I acquired all from the wheel. And so yeah, gear spoilers, no like mirror spoilers. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get right into it. So our first weapon up is the Vengeance, and I think you guys are going to like this thing a lot. Note, I am on Chaos 50, and I don't have a Chaotic or Volatile one yet, or Primordial or Ascended, so like damage is much lower than it could be, but this thing is a locked dark magic Tori AR that does some crazy things. Now, it's got 2 firing modes, Quarrel and Feud. Quarrel reads, fires tracker pellets, increase fire rate and reload speed for each pellet stuck in target, and then Feud fires explosive sticky crossbolts that home towards enemies stuck with Quarrel pellets. Crossbolts deal 7% damage for each crossbolt stuck to the target. Bolts last 7 seconds. So the biggest appeal to this thing right off the bat, I'll show you. Here's Quarrel. That is the like tracking projectiles, but the biggest thing is the Feud firing mode, which is going to drop these stickies. And the reason these stickies are so awesome is because they have some big ol' AoE effects. I think this is going to be, I feel like Wonderlands has been lacking a little bit in like AoE builds, anything as crazy as like Moze or like Rocket Launcher Zane, and once again, like, don't have an ideal setup on this, so let's just see the damage. This is Chaos 50 once again. That looks amazing. That looks really good. I am very excited to use this weapon. I think for status effects and for AoE, like a splash damage build, this thing seems like a ton of fun. And already, I'm going to give this thing a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I really like it. I think it's really, really cool. I've been waiting for like a big, crazy splash kind of weapon. Well, the rocket launchers in this game have let me down. So, this thing's awesome. Yeah, really good job. Hats off. Yeah, that's like literally on Chaos 50 with a non-volatile chaotic version. That's crazy. Next up, we've got the Merlins Razor, which is a magic, like, black powder weapon. We've got a bunch of these archetypes. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit worried about this weapon just because this archetype has been notoriously pretty weak in this game, but we'll see if Merlin's Razor is better. Now, this is the other like magic black powder weapon. The one to compare it to is the Crossblade. The Crossblade currently, my Primordial one, is sitting at a lot higher status effect chance and status effect damage, so maybe this is just not going to be quite as good for status effect stuff, but let's give it a go and see. We're going to be doing boss rush for all of our testing just because it gives me an obelisk, which is very nice because it gives me a little bit of mobbing and a little bit of bossing super quickly. We'll see how this thing does. I do not have an enchant on mine simply because I'm out of things, but also I should note that I'm on a very cracked build right now that is focusing on status effects. This is my Stabomancer mixed with the new Blightcaller class, which you can see going into action here. It's gross. Blightcaller is disgusting. I will have the build videos. You guys know I will have the build videos. This gun seems solid. Not as good as our first one. I think the damage is going to be a little bit lacking unless you go into status effects with it, honestly, because like flat damage is just not quite there. But then again, if you wanted to go status effects, I don't know why you wouldn't just use a Crossblade. So, like, as you can see, the Crossblade is just going to put in so much more work there in terms of on our status effect build. So, yeah, I'll give that weapon a 6 out of 10, maybe. It's cool. It's got a unique mechanic, but I don't think it's going to be that strong. Maybe I'll be wrong, though. Next up, we've got a spell that I am extremely excited to try. This is the Wicked Gossip. Reads, spreads like a lie. On hit, ricochets to 2 nearby enemies. If there are no enemies nearby, spawn a poison puddle at the target's feet. Now, the reason I am so excited for this thing is look at its status effect damage. It's got very, very high status effect damage with a very low chance, but with the Blightcaller, we're going to be able to boost up that chance. in comparison to a primordial gelatinous cube, if you just look at the status effect damage, it's way more. However, the status effect chance is way less. So I'm super curious to try this. The setup I'm on right now is definitely not a spell casting build, but maybe a Blightcaller spell shot status effect setup could be like really nuts dual wielding these things. That sounds amazing just thinking about it, but let's just see what it does. I gotta hit the enemy. Oh boy. Yeah, that was some status effect damage. And it'll spawn a cloud based off of that status effect damage. Oh my god, I only used one and the cloud's already wrecking things. Okay. There it spread but didn't proc. So that's like, we're really going to want to get our status effect chance up. Yeah, okay. So if you can get your status effect chance up, this thing's like, it seems like it's going to be an absolutely nutty spell. But it's got that base, that low base, that if you hit it and it doesn't proc, you're just not going to get much out of it. Seems very cool. Very cool. Definitely an item you're going to have to build around, which I like. Yeah, we really got to get that status effect chance up to like do something with it. But fits with the Blightcaller, possibly spell shot, Blightcaller spell, or Stabomancer. It seems like the potential is there. We just got to get that status effect chance up, which, I mean, I've got decent status effect chance, but like not the craziest. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I think that's fair, just because it's not like the most visually appealing spell. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple, but hopefully it gets the job done. Our next weapon is the Rage Handle. Animals in a cage, some of us filled with rage. If you enjoyed playing Krieg, this is kind of the weapon for you. Rage Handle is what it drops with, and then it can roll, I think, any other handle. I've gotten this thing with Vampire, I've got it with Caustic, but a Rage Handle reads, melee attacks increase your melee attack speed and melee critical chance by 10.5% for 5 seconds, stacking 15 times for over 150% attack speed and melee critical chance. Hitting a boss applies triple the stacks. So I just kind of want to show you guys this. I'm not really on like a melee build right now. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should put on a live wire. Let's hold a live wire real quick. But this thing is hilarious. It's actually hilarious. So far, I've been really enjoying a lot of the gear. Some of the other PLCs have had really big misses on the gear. But this has been a ton of fun. Oh boy. I wanna build up our melee attack speed to show you guys this. Is this one I have messed around with? I need a boss. You'll see it start to like speed up here. Let's do it on Taskmaster. If he doesn't kill me. It just gets so like it just gets insanely quick. Dude, you could make a full like crazy attack speed build with the Berserker, because Berserker's got attack speed, and go like just an obscene amount of attack speed. It's not the strong. Whoa. Sended Arcane Bolt. I'm gonna pick that up in a second. It's not the strongest weapon. By the way, I've gotten the 2 that have dropped for me. I've dropped in poison. I got this other one that dropped in poison, so I think it might be poison locked. Not the strongest melee weapon, but genuinely, I think one of the more fun ones, just because the mechanic literally lets you go into like Psycho Buzzax Rampage and just wail on enemies like obscenely fast, which I really like. An attack speed build sounds like a lot of fun. I'm basically judging gear on if you can build around them, 2, if they're viable for Chaos 50, and 3, if I think they're like creative and stuff. And I like this as well. It's cool. You can build around it. Seems like it's viable at Chaos 50. It's got a low status effect chance, but with your attacking so fast with melee crits, there's probably some really cool things that you could do with this weapon. It's unfortunate that it might be locked to poison. If it could come in all the elements, you could do probably some like freezing things and just freeze things like crazy fast with it. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's really cool. I don't think the design is anything too particularly crazy, but looks pretty cool. And lastly, we have the class mod, which is the Mosquito Mantle. Now, new class mod, new look, or at least I think this is a new look. I don't think I've seen it before. Looks pretty great. My leg's like coming out of the thing there. But very, very spiky, looks awesome on my character. And what the class mod actually does is it reads 30% chance on critical hit to apply a crossbolt to the target. On kill, gain 2.8% action skill cooldown rate for each crossbolt stuck in the target. Now, this is a little bit of a confusing class mod. I'm going to explain my understanding of it and my testing that I've done. So, first off, any source of damage in the game can proc crossbolts on enemies while wearing this. Melee attacks from random melee weapons. Shooting, like, for example, the White Rider. The White Rider, the beam will proc crossbolts on enemies as long as you're critting. You can put on a ×21 kettle drum shotgun and go into from the shadows, shoot a big burst of it, and a bunch of those pellets are going to be applying crossbolts to enemies. Now, it doesn't seem like those crossbolts are going to be doing any sort of like extra damage. They're just applying to them. And then when you kill those enemies that have those crossbolts added to them, you're going to get a bunch of action skill cooldown rate, which is great. This is really good for like using your action skill a bunch. However, the real crazy synergy is with the Barbaload Pincushion. Attacks have a 22% chance to fire attached crossbolts to nearby enemies and refund a portion of the ammo. This will allow you to use the White Rider or like any weapon in the game, melee weapon, status effects, dots, to do a bunch of damage to a big group of enemies, proc a bunch of crossbolts even though you're not using a crossbolt weapon, and then the Barbaload would send all the crossbolts convening and ricocheting all around, and you could make a ricochet status effect build or a ricochet melee build, and it would be crazy. However, I do have some bad news, and that at the current point of testing this interaction, once again, this is pre-launch of this PLC, this interaction does not work with crossbolt weapons. So like the Barbaload works fine with crossbolt weapons, but it doesn't seem to be interacting with the crossbolts that are attaching from non-crossbolt pieces of gear. So like, for example, if I proc a status effect and that status effect procs a bunch of bolts, I have yet to see them ricochet with Barbaload. This could possibly be fixed at launch. I'll probably have a pinned comment if it is. But if that does get fixed, you could make ricochet status effects builds, ricochet melee builds. The possibilities would be crazy, and you would also be getting a ton of cooldown. So this is genuinely a super cool class mod. I do hope that issue gets fixed. I'm going to give the class mod a 6 out of 10 for it not totally working with this interaction, but like 9 out of 10 if that gets fixed, because genuinely that could make some truly crazy shenanigan builds in Wonderlands. So yeah, guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Honestly, like across the board, I think they did a really good job with a lot of this gear. Some of the PLC gear has been very like memey, like the garlic breath and the gun that shot dice. They're just like kind of gimmicky. They didn't really like do much for builds. I think they knocked it out of the park with like pieces of gear that genuinely impact builds that you can make builds around and that are going to be Chaos 50 viable. So pretty excited there. I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.